this is straight facts. I'm talking straight facts. My skin is black and beautiful, could never bleach that. Yo, greetings people and welcome to the first episode of, I don't know what we're gonna call this podcast here. We might just call it the Pure Vibe Show for right now, or we might call it Love, Lies, and everything in between. We don't know yet, but we won't get back to that. But I just want to introduce y'all to my gracious host right here, Miss Lotus right here, you know? That's what we do and that's what we talking, you know? This show is all about love, life, lies, relationship, and everything in between, you know what I mean? So to kick off the first topic today with my lovely, gracious sidekick and host here, Miss Lotus, we're going to be talking about sex in relationships and how important is it. So, kick it off. I'm going to let the lady go first. So let me ask you, so do you think the lack of sex in a relationship give the man a right to go out and seek extracurricular activities?
No.
And, alright, now suppose there's a discussion about it though, between the two people in the relationship, and one lets the other one know like, hey, this relationship that we have in the lack of sex not working for me, I'm gonna need more, and it doesn't improve on one or the other party's part. Does that give the person the right to go out there?
No, I don't think anything gives you the right. I think you should gracefully bow out. If you know that it's not gonna work for you, it's time to go.
But how can a person try to get everything they want? So let's say your relationship is good, but it's just the lack of sex. You love this woman, you've been with this woman for a long time, you're really into her. How do you find that balance? Then what you do? So you just throw away a whole relationship because
you gotta put the work in. Counseling maybe, real honest conversations. But usually a disconnect sexually is a leakage from some other dynamic or aspect of the relationship. Because if you're connected to somebody and you guys are in an intimate space on a regular basis, it's kind of second nature to be attracted to someone to the degree of having sex, particularly when you're connected. So when that stops happening, women, that's probably one of the first ways we're gonna shut down, when something is off emotionally. So you're basically saying that something else got to be going on then? I can speak for the woman. I would say 9 times out of 10, because we're just as sexual as you are, as men are, if not more. So I think if a woman doesn't want to connect with you in that way, she just not feeling you in some other way.
That could be a possibility. That could be some truth to that. You know what I mean? And maybe that is the best thing to do, but in the reality of life, I don't think a lot of people are going to be just walking away from their situation, and I think that's how entanglements happen.
Yeah, I think so too, but for me, it would frustrate me more. Like if I'm unhappy at home and then I step out and I'm good and then I gotta come back home and know I can't get that there, for me, that would frustrate me more. And then if it would create a desire for the thing that I'm doing, and if I can't get that on a regular basis, I'm gonna bring that tension home. So then we have an even bigger issue. So the whole cheating thing is a whole lot of dynamics to that, because you start to bring that stuff in the house.
And that's kind of important because you said, so basically honesty and communication is important.
You have to, especially about the stuff that's uncomfortable. Those are the conversations that need to be had, because it's very easy to try to protect someone by not sharing.
True.
But for the other person, it's a bit deceptive. So then it's the fine line between how is this gonna go, what's the outcome gonna be, versus I need to really talk about this. When is the right time? What is the right way to say it? All of those things play into how the other person is gonna perceive what you're saying.
True. I mean, I can't knock it.
It's fragile.
Because I was watching that DJ Envy and his wife's thing, how for like 10 years she lied about an orgasm situation. So that's what I'm saying. Like, was there, a lack of communication? Was that wrong for her to do that? Because I don't think women be taking enough blame. Is it? Because she was lying to the man, yo. You was making this man walking around, big up his chest like he was doing something, and he was lying to the man the whole time. So was that right on her part, or should she have came out and tell the man something about it?
It's so hard. I have to be completely honest. Like I can relate. And sometimes sex is so magnified and the male ego is so fragile. He could be a bomb dude and doing everything right, and you just know that you sharing that would break him. So it's a way of protecting him and gassing him up at the same time. So it's like, this is not really working for me.
Y'all lying to us. I don't know about us, but I'm just saying, y'all out here lying, gassing, you know what I mean, making us mind them feel like we, you know what I mean, and they're not gonna say nothing about it, and then y'all gonna go talk about us, and then y'all got all these fancy toys and electronics that mine can't even like, what's going on here? Like, I feel like women are a major part of that problem.
I agree to a certain extent. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Why are they doing it?
So can we come and holler at y'all and be like, babe, when this is what it really looks like realistically. When you leave or go get in the shower, we probably, you know what I'm saying, doing what we gotta do to fill in the gap. So can we come to you and say, I wasn't good? Can we say that?
I mean, I think if a man's ego isn't intact and in check, you could say that. And I don't think
and if it's not, what happens?
Then it might be a very sad man walking around. But I don't know if being not realistic is better than, you know, because they always say it's better to be hated for who you are than to be loved for something that you're not.
I get that, and that's cute. But when it's time, seriously, when it's time for those, our black men are groomed to ooze masculinity. True, you know? True. And for some of us women, just that masculinity alone is what we need the most. So when you start tapping into things that strip him of that, and then when you see the result of that and know that you're responsible for it, that's a hard pill to swallow. So it's something that you kind of tread, like, especially if it's a good man. If it's a good man, because it's hard to find a man that's really taking care of the stuff that's important to us. So, you know, sometimes some people may even refer to it as settling, but I really think how they talk about the whole 80-20 thing, you really just have to pinpoint what's important to you, what's the most important to you, and what your deal breakers are.
So what's 80-20? What's that now?
So the 80-20 rule is the concept of being able to find 80% of what you want in one person and seeking out, or somehow that 20% presents itself, and it's always looks more valuable than the 80 because it's the 20 that you're not getting.
So you're basically saying that the 20% is more valuable than the 80?
No, that's the perception. That's why people get caught up in the 20. People have amazing relationships and they step out for the 20%. Not that the 20% is more valuable, but the 20% fills the void. So most people that separate or break up or whatever the case may be, it's because it's scientifically proven that it's because needs aren't being met. But I think that's because people don't effectively communicate what their needs are.
So you said something earlier when you said a good man. What defines a good man?
It's individual. I think every woman would have to define that for herself.
But how would you define it for yourself then? Or how would you define it as a woman that spends time around other women a lot, you know, and get to have personal conversation with them? What would you say? You know, you can't speak for all, but we just you know, speculating how the majority of women would feel. That, you know, if you spoke to them on a scale, you know, you would scale it out and say how they would feel.
Navigating through life and having these conversations, like you said, with a plethora of women, young, old, been married before, divorced, successful, all walks of life, all across the board. Women want stability. Women want security. Women want to know that they can depend on you across the board.
So a good man defines stability then?
Is stability. He's emotionally stable. He has a plan for his life. And he knows how to love you. He knows how to show you that he is solid in having you in his world. That's what's the most important to us. I feel like anything else we're willing to work with. But if we know that you're solid and it's a reciprocal energy, you got me, I got you, most women would be locked in with that alone.
Not true, I can definitely see that.
So we always talk about, when I say we, I mean society, what women want. But I realized that growing up, that was always the conversation. What men have to be or should be for a woman. But the women want to know, what is it that you all really care about? What is important to the kings in a woman? Not any chick. I'm talking about the queen that you want to come home
You're
to.
talking wife material.
Yeah.
I think confidence is number one. One thing that I always found that is a problem is having to come into a situation and build a woman's confidence. I want to add on to your confidence. I don't want to come in and build it for you because then I think we have this problem now. If we get into a disagreement or something like that, as easy as I gave it to you, I feel like I can snatch it away. You know what I mean? And have you as an emotional wreck. So I think for me, that plays a very serious part, because once I see that you're stable in that, then I feel like, you know, we can move on. And I think emotional stability is another thing too, because I feel some people are not emotionally stable to be in relationships. You know, things could go one way or the other, and some little people are a little off the rock, a little crazy. You know what I mean? It can get a little crazy. You feel me? So you gotta understand what your emotional stability is, and I think once a woman is emotionally stable and have confidence, those two things, I feel like men are kind of happy with that. You don't want to meet a chick and know that she's good and something go a little sour when she turns a super crazy chick. You know what I mean? Because
are men intimidated by women with confidence?
I would say yes and no. I would say a confident man, no. I say a man without confidence, yes. Because society teaches us that we're the ones that's supposed to be the breadwinners on top of everything, A1, apex on top of that line of things, right? And then the woman come under us, right? So anytime things get distorted within what we know is the natural occurrence of life, it's not a natural, it's just something we was taught this way, right? And we start to say, wait a minute, this woman is smarter than me, this woman make more money than me. If my confidence is shot, that's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a major problem.
Would you still engage her? If you knew that, if you identified that, because I feel like this is a regular thing. Like men date women or bag women that they know is out of their league.
Right.
But they still, they know that going in, but they still do it. And they mess her up emotionally. But they knew in the beginning. So why do men do that?
I think sometimes it's all about ego sometimes. Let me see if I can pull this. Let me see if I could, you know what I mean? Let me see if I could manipulate the situation sometimes. And fellas, I hope I ain't giving up too much game or saying too much or anything, but I just think sometimes, you know, different men mentally think differently on different things. They have different things that they're after, different priorities, you know what I mean? Different things that they're seeking. And I think some people play off of that. Like some people play off of weakness. Like, we had a sidebar and we were talking about, you know, like someone might look for a woman that's in a certain position and play off of that. You know what I mean? Find her strength to become her weakness, basically. You see what I'm saying?
For the sake of his ego.
Yeah.
But you don't really want it. You just need the stroke.
You need the stroke. You need the.
And then what do you do with it? Does it build you up, or is it just a momentary gratification? Is it something that, what I'm saying, I guess what I'm asking is, once you get that stroke, does that build you up enough to do what you need to do to be in a situation where you could present to her as an...
I think it's a high that you end up chasing. You know what I mean? Because I think once you get a taste of it sometimes, it's like, because if that's the case, you would stop. You would find it like, all right, I got to this mountain, I conquered it, I put my flag in it, it's done. But you know what you continue to do? Oh, let me see how many more that I can get to. So it becomes a thing of like starting to feed that drug, you know what I mean? Become that kind of thing right there. So
that's rich.
It could become a.
Does it get old ever? Is there ever, even in doing that, is there ever the desire to like, let me just get one and leave my mark with her?
I think every man have that one, you know. That's why you got some brothers or just men across the board that end up finding that one that they mostly settle with, make them their life mate and hold that down. Now a lot of them end up getting a lot of bumps and stumbles getting to that point, or even while they're in that position, they still have to deal with things, you know. But I feel like for a man, there's always the one. There's always the one. And for some of us, it just takes us a little bit longer to get there than others, because of might be our upbringing, might be the people we were raised around, might be the things we were taught, might be the things that we've seen, you know. It's a certain kind of thing we have to kind of like unlearn that type of behavior. You get me? Because it's kind of programmed into your DNA, you know.
Yeah, men seem to have a much deeper issue with committing than women do.
100%. I feel like that's 100%. 100%. Because I can't explain why, but I feel like that's 100%.
I wish you could.
I don't know why commitment.
Ladies, tell me wish you could.
Commitment for me, I could say commitment has always been a scary thing.
What is the fear?
For me, just making sure that I can handle that position. Because here's my situation, all right? For me, coming up as a kid, I didn't really have a dad like that. You know what I mean? Like, my father was nowhere in my life like that. Then the person that my mother was with, he was a piece of shit too. You know what I mean? So he was really not the kind of person to take up after. But all these things I've seen them do. My grandfather was a man that had 1-2 women around the place. And you know what I mean? And, you know, had a woman over here with another house. And so I'm seeing these things thinking, this is the norm. This is what you should do. This is how you should be.
Did that affect you?
Very much. Because it made me feel like disattached to women for a little while, because I feel like I don't want to get too attached and too close to you, because I'm about to go and conquer 5 more of these. You know what I mean? Because this is what a man's supposed to do. This is what I was taught. This is what it shows. Until you have to unlearn that. A little bit of what helped me is being raised by women. Seeing the things that they went through and seeing how they were done and seeing how they hurt a little bit, made me have a little bit of understanding and respect. Not saying that I still didn't do things that I felt like I might have damaged a few hearts out there.
Is there any guilt associated when y'all? When I say y'all, I'm speaking your counterparts.
Look, yeah.
Is there any guilt associated with it? Because it seems so fluid.
It
seems like something that's almost trendy. It's almost like the thing to do for a guy. But y'all, I mean, sometimes when you look at the caliber of women that men do this to, it's like, why did you do that? Is there any guilt associated?
I think there's always guilt once you realize, you know how they say, you never know what you have until you lost it and all that kind of stuff like that. I think when you start to go through the mind of people that were kind of in your life, you're like, damn, that was really foul for me to do. But at the time when you're doing it, I don't think there's no guilt there. I don't even think you're really even thinking like that, because you're doing what you think that you're supposed to be doing. You were taught about the world is filled with pimps and hoes. You were taught about pimps up, hoes down. You were taught about bitches ain't nothing but hoes and tricks. You were taught, so you moving accordingly. You get what I'm trying to say? Until you get that fine tuning to understand what's a king, what's a queen, how you look at your counterpart, how you treat women, how you move with women. You're gonna have daughters one day. You have women in your life. Do you want them to be treated like that? All these different fine tunings you have to go through. But other than that, pimps up, hoes down. You know, you live in life how you see it. Like, you see women as fleshly beings and objects. Because
so what triggered your unlearning? Are you in your unlearning process?
I'm unlearning every day. I feel like that. You know,
what triggered that? What made you be like, this ain't it?
Anytime you have a daughter in your life, that's one thing that would change. Any man out there that ever have a daughter in their life, I feel that immediately is one of the things that's going to start from there, right? And then from there, I think it's the fine tuning within yourself. When you start to become a man, you start to get mentally mature and things start to change for you. Some of us, not all of us, you know? But I think that's what it is, though. And I think it has to be something within you want to do. Because stuff ain't really changed. Society still feeds that type of ego. Women chase the bag, man chase the poom poom, and we have a fair we have this fair exchange.
You heard it first.
That's what it is, man. It's a fair exchange. You know what I mean? So more time, that's what we all doing. You know?
It just amazes me. There's something so. It's like 30 or 40 seconds that y'all chase.
I mean,
that little gratification, you know, it's so, how powerful it is, still triggers so much thought for me, because I don't understand how that outweighs building a life or stretching your life to capacity with a partner. Just seeing how far you could go with one person. There's so much beauty in that. It's gotta be exhausting leaving your energy here, there, and every. She's like this. She doesn't like that. She, you know what I mean? Then what you get to just take your stuff off and lay it down, and just really just see what it could be with one person. Do you think monogamy is realistic?
I do, and then there's some more to that. But I think every man really do want the one. I don't think every man want to have 5 gals to chase around to have to deal with that. That shit is a headache and a handbasket. I don't think no man. I don't think no man want to deal with that. Really, you know what I mean? But then too, I know some people gonna hate this shit right here.
Now give it.
Monogamy and polygamy is fine-tuned through culture. Here we go. As an African man, through the African DNA, through the bloodline, through the bloodstream, through cultural rituals and ways of beings and life. A lot of our ancestors, a lot of the tribes that we came from had more than one wife, you know. Okay,
so does that then become a moral compass? So if that's how you feel, like it's in your DNA, why you not standing on that?
Because hear me out now. There's more to that. Now, I know I want to destroy that there because these men had riches and wealth where they could take care of all these women equally, and there was a way of going about that. You couldn't just have these women and it wasn't just a thought out or a smut out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was like these were your wives. You had to care for them equally, and it was certain things that you had to go by to be able to do that. You couldn't just be some good regular Joe Smo doing it. And you had queens that used to do the same thing too. That had concubines, you know.
Realistic?
Monogamy can be realistic for those that want to have it.
These operative words you said can be.
It can be. It is realistic.
Let's reel this in.
No, it all is realistic.
To you.
Yes, it is realistic. Yes. So is polygamy though. It's all real. It all really exists. It's the way you see. It's the way you actually.
Of course, it exists.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In this day,
right.
For you personally,
can I be monogamous?
When you look at those two
anybody can.
Anybody can. Yes, but the way that society is, the way things have changed in terms of the dynamics of family. Our parents grew up in a culture where their fathers could take care of the whole house. The mom was home all day. That dynamic is very different now. It's very difficult for one person to run an entire household. That's almost like a thing of the past. It's very difficult in this day and age. So
it depends on what your lifestyle is. Now, to a regular average girl, yes. But to the girl on OnlyFans making $1 million a year, it's really not. So you see, this is how society is now. Society is really, I don't know, you got to pick your field, because if you could be a girl on OnlyFans, you feel like you don't need no dude. You don't want no relationship. You're making $1 million off of OnlyFans, but you want a relationship with a man for that can't make $1 million or make even more money than you make.
Is it all about? Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Is it all about the money?
For a lot of people, yes.
Really?
For a lot of people, yes. I think it is. I think very few people, and this is why a lot of things don't work for a lot of people, and a lot of things don't last, and people get married and that don't even work sometimes. A lot of relationships go bad because of financial issues.
Because we don't economical issues. We come from a sweep under the rug culture. We don't talk about things. Therapy now is just becoming a thing that's okay to do, because anything that we struggle with, it had a label: you crazy, or you dysfunctional, or this or that. So now that we're more comfortable with calling things what they are, you see a wave of more people taking care of their mental health and things like that. But it's a lot involved. People need to have the conversations that people don't want to have, or that they are uncomfortable having. I think people break up because nobody's honest about their real intentions. If money is a thing for you, you need to say that. This is what I expect from you, and this is how I expect it. I don't personally understand how people get into situations that they don't want to be in. Meaning, if you engage with somebody and you know that that's a thing that's not going to work for you, why do it? It's a waste of time.
I mean, some people be after one thing and not the whole pie. Some people just want a slice of pie. They don't want the whole pie. You know what I mean? Man just want a slice. And sometimes, I'm just trying to tell you, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's like you can't, you know, you try to get the slice, but you
don't want a dime. You want 10 pennies.
I mean, sometimes that's how it is. It's a shame to say, but sometimes that's exactly how it is. It's not right, but it's real. It's not right, but it's real. People do it every day. People do it every day. And that's what I mean when I say that, because if it wasn't, then people wouldn't do it. You know, people just have their wife, their family at home, happy family, everything good, and risk it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, these things happen every day.
It's almost glorified.
Divorce court exists, you know.
Yeah.
There's a reason, because people risk that shit every day. They get to where life says you need to be to make everything complete, and they still get to it, and they risk it every day. So, I don't know.
This is rich.
It is, man. These are the type of topics, man, that we decide that we need to come and sit down and have with people and talk about and discuss, because I feel like relationships are something where communication is a lack of it. I'm 100% guilty of that, you know what I mean? And I would just probably have an attitude, walk outside and get hit by a bus or something like that. And not even realize it, because, you know what I mean? That's how men can be sometimes, you know? So I think...
Why is that? Is communication, is it sharing your emotions that makes you uncomfortable? What is it about communication that's a deterrent? What makes you not want to just fix it?
I don't know. Sharing to me always seemed a little weak and a little like, you know what I mean? So that made it.
Is that back
hard.
to what you've learned?
Right, about masculinity, you know what I mean? Like, why you up here sapping on this woman's shoulders? Well, get up and, you know what I mean? Like, straighten your back, you know what I mean? You up here sapping and crying, man, I want to a woman. It'll make you feel like that. So it's like, am I doing that now because I'm sitting here like sharing with you like, hey, you did something that made me feel some type of way? Or do I just lash out and, you know?
Yeah, because you run the risk of it happening again if you don't share it.
Well, these are the things you learn as you go forward, and as I think you do trial and error, I think you more get that, you know. That's what it is, man, you know. But I don't know.
So then after you walk outside, what happens?
You get hit by a bus and you don't realize. You know what I mean? Because you
ladies, we got work to do.
You know what I mean?
We got work to do. We gotta rub their backs. We gotta text them in the morning and tell them he's doing an amazing job. We gotta figure out what they need, because they willing to go get hit by a bus than talk to us.
I mean,
that's an issue. Is it hard to talk to us?
It depends on the female you got.
I'm trying to help us out.
It depends on the female you got. You know what I mean? But that's why.
What? Oh.
Let me tell you
what makes you? I'm sorry. What is a safe place for you to come and communicate? What makes that? What do you need to be able to say what you need to say?
I always felt easier talking to a female friend before I would talk to the woman I'm in a relationship with. So I would go outside and be like, yo, blah, 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 and try to get, you know what I mean? And they would tell me, yo, you're wrong for that, or you should da.
Ladies, can your
Is that
man
wrong?
have...
Am I wrong for that?
Ladies, can your man have female friends?
I mean, isn't all right. Ladies, you should, fellas, you should understand that female friends are important, because a lot of women, guess what? They don't want to be friends with females. They love to be friends with men over females, because females a lot of times can't even get along with each other.
So if I'm going to holler at my homeboy in the same regard that you are you comfortable with that?
It depends on what the conversation is about. Like if you were trying to say, oh, he liked this polo t-shirt, tell me if I should get the blue one or the red one. I'm super cool with that. You know what I mean?
Is this thing on?
I'm super cool with
that.
I'm super cool with that. But if you're
I gotta be cool with you on the block talking to little shorty about me.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't even be like that. It would be like, you know what I mean? She would be my personal friend. You know what I mean? And she would be advising me. It wouldn't be like I'm up there talking you dirty.
You are in a relationship. Do you have personal female? Do I know her? I mean, if you're in a
You
relationship,
would know of her. You would know of her. You know.
What do you mean of her?
So like, you might see my phone ring and her name pop up, and you might be like, oh yeah, that's such and such. You know, she from Brooklyn.
So y'all like hang out and stuff outside of our relationship?
Like let's say like I go to the city that she lives in. Let's say like, you know, we in VA and she live in Brooklyn and I go to Brooklyn. We might chill out and go for lunch. Would that be an issue? You think it's important for a man to introduce a female have to know all a man's friends? Or like, he can't just have friends that she heard about? Does she have to meet them in person?
Yeah.
Why is that important? If you have trust in a relationship, why is that so much important?
It's more about respect. So if you're my partner, I wouldn't expect for you to be just out with some woman who I don't even know.
Right.
Well, what'd that look like?
But you know of her. Is that not like the same?
No, because I need her to have a respect for me as well. It's called boundaries. Because if she doesn't, if I'm just a figment of her imagination, she might not be compelled to respect me. But if she is in my presence and she can feel my energy, then it's going to put her where she needs to be.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Women have some deep, women be thinking really deep on their views on certain things.
And also by you letting her know, by you saying, "Come on, meet my girl," that's a boundary. That's you showing her what your person means to you. You know what I'm saying? If she just my girls that you just hear about, then that's what she's going to be to her. So she need to come and, hey, how you doing? And I need to read and feel her energy and see what's what. Because some women use friendships for what they want.
Now, suppose she do all of this, she meets you, she do all of this, and she's still smashing. Then what is that? What does that solve? What security does that even? If it's a still possibility that if something was gonna happen, it's gonna happen. That's how I look at it.
That's why I'm not really with it. To be completely honest, I'm not really with the whole friendship opposite sex thing. Now, if you got some childhood friend that y'all was in the sandbox and y'all parents know each other and stuff like she gonna be at the family cookout when I go and stuff like that, that's kind of different. But I still would expect to not only know who she is, but interact with her. What's not going to happen is my man is not going to be out here having some relationship with some woman that I'm oblivious about. That's just not going down. And that's just lit. But that's just me. Because I'm a woman and I know us. And I'm not kicking it with no man that I'm not interested in. I don't care that we grew up together, we friends, my sister. That's the one right there. I don't trust none of that. Because a woman is not just going to kick it with no guy that she not feeling. No matter what capacity it is. Even if she knows she can't be with him. She might just like kicking it with him. But his kicking energy ain't community. If you committed to me, this ain't no community energy.
Yo, this woman is trouble, yo.
Nah,
because
it's a real...
I've had female friends that we were just strictly friends and all.
Okay.
We never crossed boundaries before.
Okay. And at any moment, at the right time, or anything could shift, or you can have on the right outfit, or y'all have the right conversation, and that could change at any moment.
Yo.
But, I just want you to be, even if I did allow it, I want you to...
Allow. Allow is a crazy word. But go ahead.
We can withdraw the word allow for the sake of semantics if you want to. Even if I did flow with it. You gotta be cool with the same thing. And all I'm saying is, if I'm somewhere drinking my champagne, kicking it with my homeboy, you just be alright with it. That's all I'm saying. What's good for the geese gotta be good for the gammon. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, this woman is trouble, man. I ain't mad at that, though. I mean, because I believe in equal. Speaking of equal, how do you feel about relationships being 50-50? And when I say 50-50, you know what I mean? I'm talking about...
What you talking about?
We go half and half. We go out, we split. And not even...
Half on what?
We go half on bills. We might go half on groceries. We just do things half and half. You might pay a bill this week, I might pay it next week.
Okay.
You might pay a 20, I might pay a 20. Might make the 40. You know what I mean?
I think it depends on the dynamics of the relationship, honestly. But that's one of those conversations that need to be had, because a lot of people want to judge that based on who makes the most. And that's not always the thing. Who's better with the money? I might could take that 40 and do more with it than you can. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Those conversations need to be had. So, you challenged me on this and kind of got me thinking about it more and more. Because I've had
because it's partnership, right?
It is partnership.
Okay.
But I feel like partnership has to be what it needs to be in a moment.
I agree.
50-50 might not be appropriate at sometimes. You know what I mean? I might need 70. Not just for my hair and nails and stuff, but for
right.
Before, me personally, I'm an entrepreneur, so my income is variable.
Right.
I don't make the same thing all the time. So if I'm significantly short this week, I do want to be able to come and say, baby, things ain't looking like they did last week. Is there any way you can take this? I like seesaw. I like ping pong. I like give and take. I'm not
the 50-50.
I mean,
because sometimes, let me tell you why I ask that. Because women get a little sexist when they want to. You a man, cut the grass. Or you a man, hold these bags. But when it comes to other things, you a man, don't tell me what to do. You a man, don't tell me you can't control my life.
But if you can tell me what to do,
pull and tug with women. So I'm trying to figure out where you want. You know what I mean? Like where you.
I'm happy that you brought that point, because here's the thing. Now, because that has to do with submission, telling you, being able to tell me what to do and things like that, right? Okay. All right. If you can, Jill Scott said it like this, and I felt it. She said, if you can tell me what to do, it's because you can tell me what to do. All right. So if you holding it down and you making sure everything is cool and you on your kingly duties, and I feel protected and secure, and I know if I fumble that you gonna recover or vice versa, then by all means tell me what to do. How you want your coffee, baby? Yeah, but if I have to put mommy energy on and come and talk to you about things that I feel like should be standard as a man, me personally as a woman, I'm 42. I ain't ashamed to say I feel good. You know what I mean?
Look good for your age, man. Be proud of it.
I appreciate it. They say women are supposed to tell her age. I'm happy. I'm 42. Okay, 42 and true. Okay, so look, at 42 years old, a divorcee, single mom, I'm not trying to argue with a man about bills. I'm just not going to do it. Because bills are adult 101. I had my first apartment at 17. Right. So we talking 20 plus years of adulting. We should be arguing about something else.
I mean, you just gotta, a man gotta pull his weight and do his part. And that's just what
if you do that consistently, whether you do it more than I do or on a bigger scale than I do, 9 times out of 10, if you do that consistently, I'm gonna honor you. Consistency for a woman, man,
means a lot.
Oh my goodness. Do you know you could be a good dude, but if you're not a good dude consistently, she turned off. Whatever you are, you better be that consistently, because with a woman, that's the only way you're gonna stick around. That's the only way.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to take the words from you, because like I said, women know what women want best. Then,
y'all should know that too. When you get flaky on a woman, don't she start acting different?
No, what you're saying is 100% right. What you're saying is 100% right. But like I said, why these conversations are important, why they're so healthy, and why they need it, because, and sometimes it's gonna get a little spicy in here.
Yeah, heavy on the healthy.
Very heavy, you know what I mean? But this has been #1 episode of the new season of the Pure Vibes podcast show with my gracious, beautiful, and lovely host, Miss Lotus. Stay tuned and keep it locked, as we're going to be dropping another episode pretty soon, right here for Pure Vibes podcast show. Boom! Next time. But me never did a pass it to Keisha. The kind of gather with a smoke on the cheaper. I mean the kind of man that's stingy with me reefers. Fuck all those questions you ask.